Hi, Democrats. It is Wednesday, March 30th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. So, lots of things happening, lots of things I want to talk about, and my green screen's not working. Alrighty, so yesterday, um, President Biden once again made history by signing the anti-lynching bill. This bill is a bill that has been attempted for 100 years and no fewer than 200 times. This bill has come up and has been shot down either through filibustering or distraction, but finally it has passed and the president signed it into law yesterday in a bill signing ceremony after 100 years and 200 tries. And why it's still important in 2022 that we have to have an anti-lynching law is shameful, but it is real. Some recent incidences that if we had the law that we could have used it for are for the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery. They chased him down for the mere reason that he was Black and they didn't think he belonged in his neighborhood. That would have qualified as a lynching law. What happened to Heather Heyer? I don't know if you guys remember Heather Heyer. She was a victim of a angry man who drove through a protest, ran over people. Heather Heyer died, and we didn't have the lynching law to charge him with, right? And so he just got a simple hate crime. This elevates certain kinds of hate crimes, and it's hate crimes that are, race, religious, sexual orientation, or other identifiers. And this was attached to the Matthew Shepard James Byrd Prevention Act of 2009. And that's why I say here we are in 2022 and we're still having to deal with lynching laws because folks are still lynching people in 2022. We can't let this go. I am so proud of our president for being able to get this through and signing this into law. So I wanted to start out with something positive. Not positive because it's lynching, but positive that we finally have an answer. And then I want to take you to the former guy, the last president, who is right now, as we speak, as Russia is invading Ukraine, as people are dying, as we have a dictator bombing children and hospitals. The former guy, Donald Trump, is still asking for favors from Putin. That tells you who he sides with. He is asking for Putin to release information. He's asking for favors from Putin while he is committing a war that he chose. Putin chose this war of aggression that's unconscionable, unnecessary, violent, and our most recent former president is asking for favors. Now, I didn't like talking about him while he was still the president, and I really don't like talking about him now while he's not the president, but I think it's important, particularly because I live in Oklahoma, where a lot of our Republican legislators and wannabe Republican legislators are still courting Donald Trump. They are still aligning with Donald Trump. They are still spouting Donald Trump talking points. This is who they're lining themselves up with. They're lining themselves up with someone who's lining himself up with Putin. Our current governor recently bragged about a recent endorsement of his gubernatorial reelection campaign. Trump endorsed Stitt. Full stop. Trump endorsed Stitt. Stitt bragged about the endorsement. Trump endorsed Stitt, and within the same month, he's asking for favors from Putin. I'm not real sure who the lock him up is for, James. I'm not advocating that we lock up Stitt, but I am advocating that we help him pack his bags and make sure that he is no longer our governor. Now, the former guy, yeah, of course we need to lock him up. There are judges now that are saying that he likely committed crimes. They have proof that he committed crimes as related to January 6th. He is not above the law. He should not be above the law, but that's a whole nother day. That's a whole nother show. My concern today is for Oklahoma. And yes, I kind of went around the block to get it, but our current governor is cozying up to the last president, and the last president is cozying up to Putin. If someone that reprehensible decided to endorse me, I would put some distance between me and that person because I don't want anybody to think that I would align myself with someone like that. Our governor hasn't done that. Neither have a lot of our Republican legislators in this state who, on all of their mailers, are putting Donald Trump talking points. They are still cozying up to Donald Trump, though it's been proven he did not win, though it's been proven he is, I don't want to go all the way out and call him a traitor, but pretty darn near. If you ask me, he's a traitor. And those who are still lining themselves up with him, those who literally their talking points are, I want to continue Donald Trump's work. They want to continue the work of a traitor. Okay. If that's what you want, that's fine. But if you're watching me, that's not what you want. If you're watching me, you want someone who wants to take our state further, who wants to take our nation further. And here comes the thing where I always ask, help me find a candidate that you will vote for. Help me find a candidate who understands that they will be representing all of Oklahoma and Oklahoma, not crazy stuff of a former loser president. I mean, I'm not calling him a loser because of his personality. That's another day. I'm calling him the guy who ran for president and did not win. The guy who ran for president and had the most amount of people that have ever voted for against them, vote against them. That would be Donald Trump. So if you're not sure, and if you're one of those people who say, I vote for the person and not the party, I'm going to ask you, while you're looking at the person, look and see who they're aligning themselves with. And if they're aligning themselves with a traitor, decide whether you want to give them your vote. And if you're watching me, I'm thinking you probably don't. All right. One more thing about our current governor, because I want to remind you of why we need to find candidates to replace the folks that we have, namely the governor. Our governor signed today, or was it like yesterday? I think it was today, very proudly, and made a big deal about it, that he signed the anti-trans girls bill. You can't say that you support women as a general statement if you don't, if you only support certain women and certain women who meet your criteria. And that's what this bill does. This bill actually doesn't really support women because it doesn't teach women and future women that we have to work for what we get. What this bill does is it sends a dog whistle for a value that most people don't even believe anymore. Our nation as a whole, our state as a whole is not anti-trans, but it sounds good when you're campaigning to ugly, bigoted folks. And that's what this bill is. This bill made him feel good because he wants to be in the news and he wants people to see him as this tough, rugged guy. But what it does is it endangers the lives, fragile lives of children, because we're talking about children. It endangers the lives of children, and it doesn't advance Oklahoma in a meaningful way. It doesn't. It just panders to bigotry. And that's what anti-trans is. You can dress it up. You can talk about the Bible. You can talk about how things used to be. There have always been trans people. When you know better, you do better. And accepting, voting for, condoning bigotry is shameful. And that's what that bill was. That bill was blocking little girls and young women, because it goes all the way through college, from being able to participate in sports, being able to be part of a team for no other reason than the fact that they choose life and they want to be who they are. You cannot support or condone a bill that keeps people from just being. And that's what our governor just did. Our current, hopefully short-term governor. So that brings me to the governor is on the ballot this year. And fortunately, Democrats currently have two choices. We have two women that we can pick from. I'm going to encourage you to pick one of them. We have Joy Hoffmeister, Superintendent of Public Instruction, or former State Senator Connie Johnson. We have two candidates that you can get behind and support, because we've got to make sure that Governor Stitt is serving his last year as our governor. Pick a candidate, support her with your time, your energy, sharing social media. Don't wait until after the primary, because that's how they get to the primary. Pick a gubernatorial candidate, Hoffmeister, Johnson, Johnson, Hoffmeister, whoever you choose to pick, and support them now. Don't wait. Support them now. All righty. Thanks for joining me, and I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15.